your portfolio issues now, and we'll start with the NBN. Given the size and the scope of that, does that mean that that issue will be the biggest challenge for you over the next 3 years, that inevitably it will dominate what you do?
Well, it's certainly a very big issue in the portfolio. I hesitate to say it's the biggest, because the minute I say that, something else will blow up that will be even bigger. But it is a very big issue. The Labor Party has left us with a shocking mess there. You know, this project's been going for 4 years, and they've completed less than 2% of the construction. It's been a shocking exercise in mismanagement right from the conception of it. So anyway, we've got a lot of work to do to sort it out, and it's underway now. Well,
you've got a review underway now, though. Will that slow it down? When will that review start, and how long will it take?
Well, the review will start. It starts now. It'll start on Monday, I guess. Ziggy Switkowski, the new executive chairman's only just been appointed after Cabinet on Thursday. So, and it's due to report in 60 days on the 2nd of December. And what it's seeking to do, Barry, is firstly tell us exactly where the project is at the moment. We want a no-nonsense, factual, no-spin, where are we now? Then we need to know what it will cost and how long it will take were we to continue it on the specifications that the Labor Party had set, fibre to 93% of the population. And then that's a very important benchmark. And then to analyse and assess what are the options for doing it more quickly, completing it more quickly, and at less cost, both to taxpayers and, of course, more affordably for consumers. And after that's complete, we will then know the context, the parameters within which we can make the policy decisions.
And what if it shows that if you spend less now, you might have to spend more later on? Are those sorts of outcomes are going to be taken seriously by you and the government?
Well, of course. As you is a keen student of our broadband policy, you would have noticed there's quite a lengthy discussion about the time value of money and the whole debate about spending money now to cater for demands that might not arise for 20 years. And that's very quantifiable, and that is something that will be a key part of the strategic review that we're talking about right now.
And future broadband requirements, will it look at that as well?
Absolutely. That's a key part of it. In fact, this is something that is being done in a number of markets to look at broadband demand now and then to analyse it carefully, because there's been a sort of a lazy assumption that demand for additional, higher speeds, for example, line speeds, is just going to increase exponentially. And you don't have to reflect on it very long to realise that can't be right, particularly for residential consumers. And so you've got to, because you're talking about tens of billions of dollars being spent here, you've got to focus very carefully on demand. And if you get these things wrong, you can spend a lot of money you don't need to. I mean, here in Sydney, for example, think of the cross-city tunnel, that was hundreds of millions of dollars wasted when they misspent when they assumed it was going to have 90,000 cars a day and it only had 30,000. So, if you get your demand forecasts wrong, you can spend a lot of money that you don't need to.
And as you open up the network to greater competition, what do you say, particularly to your coalition partners, the Nationals, about that and what that implies about the disadvantage for the bush?
Well, interestingly, Barry, under our approach, the bush will do much better because there will be much more wireline broadband, so faster broadband and more affordable broadband in the bush for reasons you can only put down to ideology and prejudice. The Labor Party said that fibre to the premises would be the answer for 93% of the population, and one of the cut-offs was communities with less than 1,000 premises, less than 1,000 houses and businesses. So there's a lot of country towns that fall into that category, and they don't regard themselves as isolated hamlets. Now, those country towns are absolutely ideal for the fibre to the node architecture that we will certainly be deploying. Question is how much of it, because those towns have typically got an exchange in them, a Telstra exchange, connected to fibre, and so you can very readily upgrade your service in that country town to very high-speed broadband, higher than you can get with wireless, which is all that the Labor Party was going to offer them. So the bush will get better broadband sooner and more affordably under our plan than they would have done under Labor's.
Now, just more broadly on the media, you said recently